for this evening, Lord. Thank you for allowing us to come together as a Board of Education, Lord. Give us the wisdom to lead this district in a way that would honor you, Lord. Just thank you for all the people that showed up tonight, Lord, and all the people that make this district run. Continue to bless us as we finish strong in this last week of school. In your son's name, amen.
Amen. All right, Ms. Heckler, I understand that you have those that are going to lead us in the pledge.
Yes, thank you. I have 3 of my officers. I actually have a team of 9 amazing high schoolers. These are 3 seniors, Bradley Jager, if you want to come up here, Claudia Gabriel, and Leslie Correa. They have surpassed every officer team. I've only been here for 3 years at the high school, but they've put on a winter formal, they've raised money, they've did outreach programs, so I'm super proud of them, and so today they're going to lead us in the pledge.
Thank you, Ms. Hackler. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being here.
Great job, thank you.
I will call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Here.
Yes.
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 Here.
All right. Appreciate all of our guests for being here today. It's great to have you with us. Do we have any comments from the public?
No, ma'am.
All right. I'd entertain a motion with regards to approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting from April 15th and the minutes of the special board meeting from April 26th.
Before we go to the consent agenda
I skipped
items,
3.
can we
We
do
can.
3 real quick? Because I know
Absolutely.
they don't want to stick around forever. But so this year we started the Support Employee of the Month Award. We called it the Support the Pirates Award. Every month we would have different honorees, and at the end of the year we were able to come up with one honoree that we would honor as the Support Employee for the Year award. Miss Tillery is the one that kind of led that process there at the end. So I was going to give her the honors of kind of communicating here at the end what we're going to do with the Support Employee of the Year.
All right. Well, you all got to meet our amazing support employees throughout the year. So I feel like our committee had a really tough job, but we had a committee composed of 4 school staff and 1 First National Bank employee who sat on the committee. And what we did is had the support employees who wanted to participate in the district level prize submit an essay short about what their most memorable experience was working for Poteau Public Schools, and then what they feel the most important part of their job is. So not everyone applied to be the district winner, but we did have several, most of them did apply. And so I feel like our committee had a really tough time because we really did have some amazing support employees. But I'm going to call down Miss Lathina Cox from First National Bank, who graciously gave us the money every month to award our winners with, and she is going to let us know who the winner is.
Like Ms. Tillery said, it was an extremely difficult.
You got a mic. You got a mic coming real quick.
Yay.
Thank you. It was an extremely difficult choice to make because there are so many amazing staff at Poteau schools. Like just reading each one of them, I mean, they were amazing. And it was an honor for First National Bank to sponsor not only the support staff of the month, but also the support staff of the year. So at this time, would Sherry Johnson? And I've had children in the high school, and I have spoken to Sherry many a times, and I know, I probably just know a touch of what she does, but congratulations, Sherry.
Hey, you gotta sing. All right. I'm going to take this. Let's come over here real quick for a picture. And I don't think we told you guys that the winner, you'll be right in the middle, guys, and then all the board will come around. The winner, First National Bank, is sponsoring an $800 award for this, Employee of the Year. So, big time. Ms. Adams, we don't have any comments from the public, but what we do need to do, we have a couple, and when we get to the finance consent agenda items, we actually have a couple of the bids, items number 23 and 24, that we have POs in the financials. So if we could go down and approve 23 and then item 24 real quick, then we can come back up to item 5, because we're going to have 23 and 24 items in the financials.
Well, since I skipped 3 at first, I was going to go ahead just real quick and say congratulations to Sherry. I know that we all appreciate her, especially as our kids go through the high school, and I know that she's ramping up for a very busy time of year for her. And I imagine that with everyone's requests that she receives, that she still has all her hair, which is amazing. So anyway, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, now I'll jump all the way to 23.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So item 23 is discussion and vote to approve or not approve a bid for the replacement of doors in the senior wing.
Yeah, so in this one, we had 2 different bids. MGS, and that is in your packet. MGS was the low bid, $55,438. It's a company out of Salisaw. Devin can't be here tonight, so I'm going to be Devin, tonight. They are putting double doors in the old senior wing there and knocking out a couple walls to make it work. So basically, in all of that, if you remember, what we had done is the new building, we got to get emergency personnel to it. So we had talked about different options. The easiest one is just doing a double door, going right through the middle, and then they get to both sides. So that's what this is. Approving this bid allows us to make the changes we need to make there.
Does anyone have any questions or comments with regards to that item? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Discussion and vote to approve or not approve a bid for the Pansy Kid epoxy flooring system.
Okay, we only had one bid on that. That's in your packet as well. It was Creative Concretes, local company out of Poto, $122,232.50. So it's an expensive piece, but that's a lot of flooring. We're doing the main building at PKMS, doing the hallway, and then every single room in that entire building. So if you've been in there, when you walk in, you'll see a couple of things. We make a comment all the time when we're in the building. You look and the walls are all painted and beautiful. The ceiling looks great, but then you got the floor. And once you fix that, I got a feeling that building is going to look so different. So really excited about this component. If you guys approve it, I think it could be a really big win for Pansy Kid Middle School.
And this is part of the facilities improvement plan that the committee's met about, correct?
Correct. Yep, it is part of the capital improvement plan.
Okay, I'll move we accept it.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. All right, now if y'all will turn back to page 1, under 5. I'd entertain a motion with regards to the minutes of the regular board meeting from April 15th and the special board meeting from April 26th.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes of the regular and the special.
Second it.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 All right, financial reports, encumbrances, and change orders.
So for the month of April, we'll start with our general fund. And our revenues are up for the year and that is what we expected because of our increase in our state aid. Our expenditures are also up, mostly due to our increase in our salaries. But also for the month of April, it has increased from the previous months due to our increase in purchasing some laptops for the teachers and also us purchasing the security cameras. And both of those will be reimbursed out of our ESSER funds. So even though we increase in the month of April more than the previous months, we will get reimbursed for all of that. And then if you look at the building fund, our revenue is up slightly from the previous years. And our expenditures are still low, but we know from our capital improvement projects that everything's gonna start happening this summer. And so as everything starts getting paid for, like our HVAC at our gym, this flooring that you just approved, so that funding is gonna start going down. But right now, it's sitting good. Our child nutrition, our revenues are staying really consistent throughout the year. Our expenditures are up, and they're up for the month of April due to us purchasing a walk-in freezer at the PKMS that we needed in the child nutrition area. And if you'll look at the back side with me, this is our year-to-date amounts. Again, looking at our general fund, our revenues are up compared to the past years. Our expenditures are up as well due to our increase in salaries and other expenditures that we've used ESSER funds for. And then if you look at our fund balance for general fund, we are up from the prior years, which is where we want us to be. But keep in mind that number looks really good right now. Next year when we lose our ESSER funds, we're gonna be, that will still be an expenditure for us and we will not get reimbursed for that. So it's gonna be like about a 1.5 million hit to the general fund. And we're still watching our expenditures, but just be aware of that. Our building fund, our revenue is right where we think it should be. Our expenditures, like I said before, they're still low, but that's gonna start dwindling away as the summer months come in and we start paying for items. Child nutrition, revenues right on track. Our expenditures for this year and child nutrition are up, but if you remember, we purchased a vehicle, we purchased a box truck, freezer, so we are using our child nutrition for areas that we know is needed, and we still have a really good fund balance there if you compare it to the past years, even with our additional expenditures that we've been using our child nutrition for. And then our last column is our total operations of all three. And our fund balance, like I said, is looking good if you look at all three of those together. So right now, we're still looking very good for this year, and our carryover should be good. But just going into next year, we're gonna have some cuts in our revenue. And then if you'll turn all the way to the blue sheet, this is our activity fund, and you'll flip it to the back side. I just kind of make you aware. In our activity, our balance as of right now is $681,913, so we're staying very consistent with what we have in our activity fund for this year. And then the next sheet is our encumbrances for our general fund. And in our general fund, we have several POs that are for summer school. We have several that are professional development, reimbursement for their meals and things when they go to do their training. We have supplies that we're gonna have to start buying for our summer school programs as well. So there are several POs in there for summer school activities. But if you'll go to the third page with me on the general fund, which is in purple, and go down to the bottom, PO number 1231. That is a PO that we would like to get approved for sure, because that is to purchase almost 500 Chromebooks for our students, and we can use our ESSER funds that we still have remaining this year to purchase those for the students. And there was one more ESSER fund on page 4, and it's PO number 1238, and that's to purchase some wet vacs for our our custodians that we can use a little bit more of our ESSER funds with to help them with the cleaning. And most of the other ones in general fund are like normal POs that we would have yearly at this time. If you will turn to the next slip, which is the building fund, this is why we had to do the bids first. PO number 18 out of the building fund, that is for the roof that was at PKMS. Oh, this was last month. This is the roof at PKMS, sorry. And that's coming out of building fund, and then we have one more PO, and that's for fees to do our contract with the new properties. And then the next one is the cafeteria. These are just normal POs out of the cafeteria. And then the gold sheet. So this is our building bond fund. So we still have remaining balance in our bond. And we had been setting aside, one of them is the parking lot. We had set that aside. We knew we were going to have that expenditure out of our bond, and it's PO number 12. And then, since we have used over 15% of our bond, we're allowed to use the remaining for like construction, maintenance, equipment that's going to increase value for our school. And so we have used it as wisely as we think we can use it. If you look at the very last one, PO number 20, that is at PKMS. That's the flooring that you just approved. And we're actually going to use that out of the bond because we have that money there and we can use it. And then also the demo is PO number 19, and the doors at the high school senior wing, which we had set that aside for the bond as well. So that's another one that's coming out of bond. And there's also PO 13 is 2 minivans to increase our fleet, because that's equipment that's going to increase the value for our school. So we can also use that out of the remaining of the bond. And then the other ones are some more installations, replacing carpet and things like that, that we feel like we need to do and use up this bond fund this year as much as possible.
And the 2 minivans, they're called minivans, but they're really not. They're SUVs. When you look at them, they're SUVs. The reason they have to categorize them mini doors is to have a sliding door on the side, but they look just like an SUV. So they'll look good for our fleet. It'll be something we're proud to drive.
Does anyone have any questions?
There's not any, are you done?
Yep.
Okay. If there's not any questions or comments, I'd entertain a motion to approve the financial reports and encumbrances.
Second it. Or I'll make a motion. I'll second.
All right. Roll call, please. Yes.
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 No change orders. Okay. Site presentation, high school.
Okay. We'll take the front 2 rows up.
All right. Thank you guys for being here today. I do want to give a shout out to my faculty and staff. A ton of them are here tonight. I really think they're here just to kind of see Mr. Kendrick's reaction, because I am sliding in something that he didn't know about on this presentation. You know me, I like to color outside the lines a little bit. But he has created a safe environment, so if I fail, it's okay. So just kind of set the stage there for Mr. Kendrick there. But big shout out to my faculty and staff. I feel most comfortable when I have them around me. It's like I'm speaking to them in a regular faculty meeting, so it's just a normal day now. And I really appreciate them showing up and supporting the high school and supporting Miss Sherry and FCCLA and the things that we do. So here at the high school, we want to create schools where students, staff, and parents are beating down the doors to get in, not out. This is more important than we know this time than ever. In July, OSSAA has introduced a transfer rule that every child gets one free move to compete in athletics and activities. They don't have to move to that district, but they can, so a Poto kid can go to any surrounding school without having to move, and their eligibility is immediately there. That's a huge piece, because now we've never had to fight for our own kids because our academics and activities have spoken for itself. And now, starting July, we're going to have to fight for our kids and compete for our kids. Because in this day and age, it's very easy just to say, you know what, that looks good over there. Grass is always greener on the other side. And so it's important that we show our people, our parents, our community what we're about. And as educators, sometimes we forget that people outside these school walls know what's going on. And so Mr. Kim and I were talking about it, and that's why it's important that our administrators, like we have in the last several months, give a speech about what's going on behind the school walls. So, and we started this right here from the first day of school. We started out, and it starts with me. I have to have a lot of self-reflection on figure out how to make myself better to make the staff better. It's a direct correlation between the leader of the building and the people that's working with that leader, and it's they kind of take on the personality of the leader, and so it's important for me to self-reflect and do what I'm supposed to be doing. I also want to start out by thanking our principals, Ms. Smith, Ms. Holton, Dr. Gilliam, Ms. Lamb. So without them, PHS would not be possible. So all the cool stuff that you're about to see and about to go over, this would not happen if they did not build the foundation for all those young pirates coming up to be future pirates in the high school. And so it's very important that I give them a shout out and let them know how much I appreciate them. We have monthly and bi-weekly meetings with the administration team, and this has been, to me, it feels like the closest as we've ever been, and we work well together, so I really want to give them a shout out, and they did a great job in their presentations to kind of set the stage for the high school to go last. So again, culture is always first, next, and always. If we don't have a good culture at the high school, kids and parents are not going to want to beat our doors down to get in. So it's very important that they see what we do, and when they walk in our doors, they see a smile on their face, they see clean buildings, and it's like when they walk in, we talked about it first day, this is like Disneyland. Ooh, this is pretty cool. This is awesome. I want my kid to go here. And so culture is always first, next, and always. So actually by Todd Whitaker in our administration meetings, we're reading a book over leadership in school from Todd Whitaker, and I got this quote from him. We take our profession very seriously, but not ourselves. So we have to do things, we teach high school kids for a living. 14 to 19-year-old kids, they're always wanting us to do, I put on a hairnet the other day at the senior citizen deal, serving food. Hairnet, I don't even have a hair. But the kids wanted to take a picture. And so we do what we got to do to make them laugh. And I'll be honest, I called an audible on this part to kind of show our culture. I was working on the project that Mr. Kendrick doesn't know about for the last several weeks. And I was in a classroom a ton, and Bradley Jagger, he was the one that gave the Pledge of Allegiance. He was working on a video. I'm like, can I steal that? How long is that? He goes, minute 20, Mr. Ballard. I said, can I use that? And so he gave me the copyrights. And so this is kind of just a snapshot of some of his teachers and the people that he works with on a daily basis. But we all remember the Full House sitcom back in the 80s or 90s. So here is that video.
To predictability, the milkman, the paper boy, evening TV. Did I get delivered here? Somebody tell me, please. This whole world confusing me. Clouds as mean as you ever seen, and a bird who knows you're true. Then a little voice inside you whispers, don't sell your dreams so soon. Everywhere you look,
So as you can tell, again, we like to have fun at the high school, and that's the best way to get kids to learn is build those relationships right from day one. So when they walk into that classroom, they're comfortable with our teachers, faculty, and staff. And if they have a problem with home, they're more comfortable and more likely to talk to them about what's going on so we can get them help. So we do like to make fun of our own selves at the high school. And so, but again, shout out to Bradley. I didn't do one thing on that. I got to steal it though. So it was a pretty awesome moment to be able to do that. So now kind of get into the academics part and kind of the makeup of our school and kind of some of the things that help us become successful. And a few years ago, Mr. Hackler and I were talking and going through some PD training. We had to recreate the whole look of our schedule, figure out a way to get kids some intervention that needs it. And so we came up with the Pirate Hour and our PLCs, our Professional Learning Communities. So our Pirate Hour, so the students, they're all enrolled in a class that takes them off campus 7th hour will be required to attend. So kids that are in athletics, school to work, internship, Carl Albert, KTC, those kids are off campus in the afternoon. They don't have to come back. They're busy. They're doing something different. The kids that are left here, and there's probably about 250 students that are left on campus in the high school. And so we took 5 minutes from every class period and made a 30-minute block at the very end of the day. And so that's the 30 minutes every day, and the students will receive intervention and enrichment. Once a student obtains all A's and B's, they can choose the enrichment part. So the enrichment part is things like band, choir, FFA, SCCLA, technology, art, and other electives. So once they have all A's and B's, they have the freedom to log in and take the cool classes that, is fun to them. Of course, our core classes are cool. Got the cool teachers over there. So, but one of the things that how Mr. Hackler and I sold this to our teachers is this part right here. Athletes must attend if they're on an eligibility list. So if an athlete is flunking, they can't compete anyways. So 7th hour, they still go to their athletics. Every hour is important. PE, math, science, English, athletics, art, they're all just as important. No one takes precedence. And so, but if they're on the eligibility list, at 2:30, they have to take their pads off, drop the bat, drop the basketball in front of all their classmates, and they have to come to tutoring, which is Pirate Hour, for 30 minutes a day until they get their grade up. And so there's a lot of pressure there to get their grades up, and your coach is mad at you, your teammates are mad at you, and so there's a lot of incentive to make sure you stay off that list. And that right there helps sold it. It also, in the past, we have a ton of pep assemblies and other assemblies that we have throughout the day. So that last 30 minutes is when we have our assembly. So when we have them, we're not missing instructional time. So it has helped out on that. We created a new platform that a lot of schools, this was, I think, out of Minnesota, somewhere up north, Vicava. It's a whole other student information system that's not Wingage, but it allows us to take attendance, tardies, things like that. So if kids skip, Mr. Hemphill sees it automatically, calls them in the next day, hey, where were you? And then we go from there. Every Monday, the students get on there and they pick what class they need to take. So if they're flunking math, they have to choose math, and they go in there until they get it passing, and then move to the next class that they need. Once they're passing, again, they can take an electives. Teachers also have the ability to assign their own students work if needed. This also gives students ownerships and responsibility of their coursework, and students are held accountable, like I said with Mr. Hemphill, not attending those classes. What else this does, the PLC part of it, is 1 day a week. We don't have common plan like in elementaries. It is very hard for departments to have time set aside to meet, on a regular basis. So every day, say Monday is the English PLC. Well, the English teachers, they do not have anybody during Pirate Hour. So that 30 minutes, they get to meet, and talk about, data, things that's going on in the classroom, how are kids acting, what are they seeing, things they need to work on. So, and then like say science is Tuesday. Well, science don't have any kids on Tuesday. So we go down the order that way. So that's how we created the PLCs and the Powered Hour for our student. So here's our report card. Now I'm just going to tell you, this is just me on a soapbox now that I'm up here, but I'll just be honest with you. We talk about this at COSA in our meetings. I've talked to at least 70 high school principals. So in the state of Oklahoma, there is a quota of how many schools gets an A. Not everybody knows that, but there's a quota. Once that quota is met, no matter if other high schools deserve an A or not, they're not getting an A. So a B is an extremely, extremely high grade on the report card for the high school. So overall, we did get a B. In every category, we are at the state level or above the state level. So we are very proud. One of the things that, we've improved in the last couple of years is our EL proficiency progress. And Ms. Chavez is right up there. She takes care of that in the high school and does a great job. But that right there is a big win. Not a lot of people get A's on this part. And she last 3 years, I think it's third year in a row you got an A, at least 2 I know. And then like the post-secondary opportunities. I know a lot of people don't know what goes on, and our counselors know exactly. It depends on how they code it. It depends on how you put it in the student information system, whether it's a C, B, or an A. I'm going to tell you right now, I'll put our post-secondary opportunities up against anybody in southeast Oklahoma or in the whole state at that. I promise you, we have more avenues for our kids to succeed here at Poto than anybody else. So don't know how that's there, but it is. But we got to be, those certain schools got the A, but we are very proud of that score. Our Super Bowl is our ACT. So in 2021, our spring composite score was 17.4. State average is 17.9. So we were below state average. So we had to regroup and figure out, okay, what are other schools doing to get their ACT scores up? How can we make our kids care about it? So we implemented the ACT boot camp. And that is mandatory for all juniors 3 days right before we take the ACT test right here in the BOK. And we break it up into math, science, and then reading and English. And all juniors have to come. I don't care if you're in KTC, concurrent enrollment at Carl Albert, you have to be here. It is mandatory. And since we implemented that, in 2022 spring composite, it jumped from 17.4 to 18.6. That's a 1.2 points. That is an amazing jump in 1 year. And we're already getting our scores in from this year. We're missing about 25 or 30 scores. But guys, I want you to understand, we have 7 valedictorians this year. That is an ACT of a 27 or higher, which is an Oklahoma academic scholar. It is not easy to be valedictorian here in Poto. We have 7 young men that are valedictorian this year. So it's an unbelievable class. And so already for this group of juniors to compete with this year's seniors is amazing. That is a good score. So there's our ACT scores. Next thing is the chronic absenteeism, and then how we attack the problem. So we also, Mr. Hackler and I kind of got together, figured out what other schools are doing, what's working, what's not. So we do attendance incentive for each semester, not the full year. Each semester is broken up. Okay, you get a 10%, anything over 10% of absences, it is called chronic absenteeism to the State Department. So you have to be underneath those. So kids have to have 4 absences or less. So the activity and the DVAP, which is digital, it's virtual. You're present, but you're doing it on your Chromebook or virtual, does not count against the student. They have to have all A's and B's in all their classes. And then the student doesn't have to be at the school the last 4 days of the semester. So we had over 200 kids today in the high school was their last day this week. They get the last 4 days off. Now, that's not just given to them. So we have to count those days as absences on student information system to be in accordance with the law of the state of Oklahoma. So in total, that student will show 8 absences. These 4 plus the 4 days of the incentive. That keeps them under the 10% or less. Qualifying students can still attend those school days if desired. There's a lot of kids where the school is their lifeline. They don't have anything to eat at home, and they want to be around their peers. They want to be around their teachers where they're loved and taken care of. So we tell those kids, you come anyways. You want to be here, you come. You know, but the big thing is this is not a day to mess around, or we don't have parties those last 4 days. We're not doing that. We're in there working hard because the non-qualified students will use those 4 days to help improve their grades. So it's another opportunity to get their grades up. So just to prove that the attendance incentive works, this kind of jumped off the page right here. So in 2018, our chronic absenteeism was 28%. That is high. We put the incentive in 2019, it dropped to 12.2%. 2020, 10.8, 2021, 8.3. And then COVID, all the COVID things hit. Mr. Hackler and I did not, I won't even blame Mr. Hackler. I didn't get it in time, and look what it jumped to. Backed up to 23%. Last year we put it back in, and all just immediately dropped to 13.6. So you can tell what we're doing is working. There's the stats to prove it, and the data to back it up. And I'll be honest with you guys, when Mr. Kimnick, I don't know when he approached all the principals, and he was like, all right, guys, all the principals get a month, talk about your school. And I'll be honest, we were all looking at each other like, he wants us to talk for 15 minutes? Like 15 minutes? We were all a little, nervous. And I was just talking to all the principals. Once you start diving into all the successes, it's hard. I had to take out so much stuff. And especially with the secondary level, we have so many things that are going on and to brag on and to showcase. So I got a little creative, and the parameters were you had to speak for 15 minutes. So I went to the drawing board. I had a leadership team meeting, and we got together. I'm like, all right, guys, here's the parameters. You got to talk about your community. You got to talk about academics. You got to talk about successes and things that go on through your school year. How can I show all the stuff without leaving out one activity, one program, one teacher? It's extremely hard to do. So thought I was smart, but it ended up taking me a whole lot more work and effort, and Mr. Hall deserves a huge award because I think I earned a credit in web design because I was in his class so much the last few weeks. But this next video, it is a video, but I am talking in it, Mr. Kimnick, so this is kind of a surprise. This is a great promotional video of our high school. We'll show it at our awards assembly Wednesday, but it's 4 minutes and about 20 seconds long. But it's the only way, words can't describe what goes on in the high school. The only way to describe it is let you see it, let you feel it, and let you feel the emotions that we feel. And so sit back and enjoy our video that will kind of put all this in one, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I'm not fired after this. Here we go.
What was the moment for you? Every school year has them. The moments that carry on forever, that tells the story of 172 instructional days, that feels like the spark to something bigger to come. Maybe the comeback win in the LCT against Pecola.
Poto wins it.
Or how about the 6 straight football district championships? Or the 2 state champions that tore the roof off the big house. Or maybe something harder to see that is forged behind the school walls, like the gritty and relentless effort from our 7 valedictorians and our 12 academic scholars. Or pushing through a brutal academic schedule. Our academics takes a backseat to no one. Whatever your moment was, there were years before too, with more of them stacking up, year by year, day by day, leading to this year. Poto is once again back in the spotlight to take what is rightfully ours. the head seat in public education. With this group of faculty, staff, and students, it's easy to take for granted the experiences and the achievements we've had from the past several years of unprecedented success. Like it's a rite of passage. Other schools and communities have spent decades clawing just for a taste of our culture and success. But in Poto, it can feel like a privilege. But none of it was ever promised. It had to be earned. When Poto High School embarked on the plan to rebuild and reposition, from the flood in the BLK to the fire in '22, there were no guarantees, just a blank canvas to write a new story. To start off the year with a new, inspired superintendent, new staff, and new goals. To accomplish this type of success in that time frame is unheard of. To accomplish this type of success, it takes an uncommon resolve and an uncommon team made up of custodians, secretaries, faculty, and staff, and it's all connected to all of our student successes. From the very first school day, our students jumped right into our community, lending a helping hand, and by doing so, shaping the youth of our future. This will ensure successful future Pirates and a prosperous community. But there is more to come. Just like the last several years, it's been about acquiring experiences to build up to our pinnacle of the school year, graduation. No one expects these types of results out of southeastern Oklahoma. And no one expected what is happening now either. This is not the rule. This is the exception.
All right, I think that about wraps it up and shows what the high school has to offer. So I appreciate you guys giving us a platform to give a shout out to these guys. That's it. Thank you.
As long as you can go back and do what you don't know, right?
It's hard to follow that. I feel like I need some background music going or something. I mean, a little anticlimactic there, but thank you very much for your presentation. We appreciate that. I know we've enjoyed all of the site presentations throughout the year. It's a good finish. All right, board to consider and take action on a resolution determining the maturities of and setting a date, time, and place for the sale of the $1,880,000 general obligations building bonds of the school district.
Yeah, so we would like to set the resolution special meeting, June 18th, 1 o'clock, BLK, for the sale of $1.88 million in bonds. That would be the recommendation to you guys. So when we make a motion to approve it, could we add the June 18th at 1 o'clock, BLK?
Is there a motion to set that special meeting for June 18th at 1 p.m.?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Discussion of vote to approve or not approve the salary schedules for the 24-25 school year.
That was in your packet. There's no changes from last year. I know the last couple of years we've had tons of changes on that, but this year we did not have any going into next year.
Does anyone have any questions or comments with regards to the salary?
State minimum standards, correct?
No,
Well, I mean-
we're above the state minimum standards.
Right.
Any other questions?
I move we approve the salary schedules, 24-25 school year.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the extra duty compensation schedule for the 24-25 school year.
We did have some changes on this document, so we removed several items. There were items on there that just were out of date and we weren't using. So if we're not using them, we took them off. If we want to add them back, we'll do so later with your approval. We did add a couple of items. So for example, esports, which we had last year, they didn't have a stipend included that was on this list, so we included that stipend. Bus driving stipends, we did increase all three of those. We've been inconsistent on how we're managing the salary of our bus drivers. So we made it consistent across the board. And so by doing that, it did increase slightly the stipend amount from what it previously was, which I got somewhere if you want me to tell you exactly what it was. We went from, we went up $600 on the short route, $1,300 on the long route, and $1,000 on the extra long route. And we were consistent on ours, and you notice all three of those are quite odd in numbers. So once again, did it for consistency to make sure everybody understands why they're getting paid, what they're getting paid.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Anyone want to make a motion?
I make a motion, we approve it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the athletic extra duty compensation schedule for the 24-25 school year.
Okay, so on this one, down the road, we do need to make a ton of changes on this. However, going into next year, we didn't feel like we had the time. There were a lot of things we were doing, to be honest, we just didn't have the time to go in and fix it this year. Our hope is that next year, we can dig in, look what other people are getting paid around us, what other schools our size are getting paid, and be competitive in all of our stipends. Right now, I don't feel like we are, but once we dig in, we'll find out more. We did add dance and cheer, which were not on there, but they should have been, so we added them to that. Yeah, so I mean, I can go on, but really, it's the same. Cheer and dance are the only adjustments, and we are looking at doing a complete overhaul next year.
Any questions with regards to the athletic extra duty? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion. We approve it. I'll second it.
All right, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the Oklahoma Teacher Empowerment Program.
Yeah, really excited to bring this to you. So we've had a committee of educators that have been meeting this year talking about this OTEP, Oklahoma Teacher Empowerment Program. And so this was in place this year, put in place last year. This year, we didn't go with it. The stipulations for this year were 10% of your population could get this. Well, how are you going to separate 10% and give them additional money? These are pretty big bonuses. They're $6,000, $10,000, $20,000 bonuses. So they're big bonuses. But the stipulations for this year were it just made it difficult. Our teachers didn't feel comfortable trying to pick out 10% and then figure out who gets it and who doesn't. So for us, when we heard the legislature was coming in and taking away the teacher match, or the district match, which they did, it passed, governor signed it. So now, the way it worked, if we were going to give a $10,000 stipend, we had to cover $5,000, the state would cover $5,000. Well, going into next year, that's no longer the case. So if we give a $10,000 stipend, our district doesn't have to match any of that. It's coming from the state. So the state's got $22 million set aside for this now because none of it was used this year. Very few schools did it this year. But going into next year, there's going to be a lot of schools trying to utilize this, and I think Poto needs to be one of them. That's why I'm bringing it to you guys tonight. The committee that we met with, we went through, we looked at several different plans. Here, what we came up with was the fairest way to do this is basically go with Teacher of the Year. And so, like, if you're a Psych Teacher of the Year, you will be a Master Teacher, which means you get $6,000 stipend. Well, right now, we give a $300 gift card for Teacher of the Year. It goes from $300 to $6,000. So that's a huge benefit to our best teachers at each site. It's an incentive. Ms. Tillery has done a great job working on that Teacher of the Year program. Like there's a lot to it now. And so now they're gonna get rewarded, if we pass this tonight, they're gonna get rewarded for this. If you are the district teacher of the year, you will get 10,000. And then you're gonna go at the state level and compete. If you're one of the state finalists, the way it's written up in your packet, they would then qualify for 20,000 instead of 10. So if we are represented on the state level, they're getting a pretty nice chunk through this plan. And once again, you know, that's, say, 6,000 times 5, it's more than that, that's 30,000. It's not coming out of our budget at all. So for us, we felt like this was a great opportunity for us to benefit the teachers that are doing great jobs, and this isn't all of them. We're leaving money on the table with this plan because this is a clear parameter of who qualifies and who doesn't. As we started drifting off and trying to get more in there, to get close to 13 teachers would be that 10%. So we worked and going from 6 to 13, but there's just not clear lines. And I think that's what's going to create distrust and going to create division within our school, and we didn't want any of that. So these are very clear parameters. We're going to benefit our Teacher of the Year candidates, and we'll be able to hopefully have better success at the state level with that incentive. So that's the plan we bring to you guys tonight, and if you did pass it, it would go into effect next year. So this is a retention piece as well. So we just had 5 great Teacher of the Years. Well, they're not going to get paid this year. They're getting paid next year. So that's a retention piece. We don't get a Teacher of the Year and then they leave us the next year because they're going to get $6,000. Well, if they're District Teacher of the Year, they're going to get $10,000. So that's a benefit as a retention piece for us as well. So I think it's got multiple benefits and would be a big asset for us if we were able to put this plan in place.
And if we come up with additional ideas for future years, I mean, we're gonna have to revisit. and
Absolutely.
Establish this every year, so that's.
Yeah, and we got a committee, and that's what the committee talked about as well, is right now, this is a great start, and let's see how it goes. There's a lot of things that, you know, first time we've done this plan, so, and I'm sure there's gonna be some issues on the state level this year too, because they're gonna have a lot more people apply for it. So one of the questions that came up was, what if, for some reason, this doesn't work? Well, then we can go back, and we still have that money set aside that we would have given to that Teacher of the Year anyway. So let's say we get to August, and this isn't working, we can't get it done. Well, they're gonna get what they've always got. Well, I think they would much rather have 6,000 than 300, but nonetheless, it's not for us lack of trying.
Any other questions? Not, I'd entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we approve it.
Is there a second?
A second.
All right, roll call, please. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the capital improvement plan.
So this is a living document. This is going to change. The Capital Improvement Committee is going to meet twice a year, and every time we meet, we're going to bring this back to you to just show you the latest of where we're at. So if you were to go back and look at the previous one, you'd see several things have changed. We increased the land amount from 50 to 150 because this body has approved the purchase of land, and that's going to be 150,000. So we put that on here. You'll see multiple things, and in fact, I'm not sure, is the PKMS flooring on this one? Is that on here, or did we get it off in time? Because it might be on this one too. One of the things we do is we're moving money around and trying to, you know, use our bond money. So, you know, is that on there? Does anybody see it on there?
I'm not seeing it.
Okay, good. So hallelujah, we took it off. Because when we were talking about that earlier, I was like, oh man, that might be on there. So, yeah, that's good. So, but it is a living document, and it is going to continue to change. But the good thing is we're meeting biannually on this to get together, see what needs to be added. And this time, we added a bunch of things that we hadn't had previously. So I think every time we meet, we're going to be able to continue to update this document and bring you guys the fruits of the labor, what we got going. I know Devin's been working hard because of this committee, so I'm sure, you know, he's glad that we're getting new items approved.
Anyone have any questions with regards to the capital improvement plan? I'd entertain a motion to approve or not approve.
I make a motion, we approve the capital improvement plan.
I'll second.
All right, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Discussion and vote to approve or not approve a transfer in the amount of $15,126 from the Insurance Recovery Fund to the General Fund.
So that would be me. So what happened is we had an expenditure that actually came out of our insurance recovery fund, and it should have come out of the general fund. So in order for me to transfer to fix this, I need your approval to move the funds between the insurance and the general fund.
Anyone have any questions? Entertain a motion.
Make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Thompson?
Yes.
McGehee?
Yes.
Yocum?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Discussion and vote to approve or not approve new activity projects for each site for site flower funds.
I say, currently, we have one admin flower fund, and we would like to have each site to have their own fund. They collect the money each year, and then they would be more in control of their own flower fund. And so that's what this is for, is just to have each site to have their own flower fund.
All right. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
McGehee?
Yes.
Yocum?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Discussion and vote to approve or not approve a transfer in the amount of $6,480.73 from the administration flower fund to the new site funds as listed. I think that's green.
It's orange on the
Oh,
amounts. yeah,
orange.
so, yeah. So what we would do is we would take the total that's in the admin fund and we would split it out to each site, and it's based on per grade. So like high school got, 4/14ths of it and so forth, so. And then they will be in charge and to know, because they know what teachers are going to be out, have a loss in surgery or something, and so it won't have to just go through one person.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Yocum?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Heck?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
McGehee?
Yes.
Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the graduation policy.
Yeah, so this is a policy that we've actually, this body's already approved once. We approved it last year, I think in June or July. However, it's changed. So as OSSBA has sent out some new policy updates on that. And so what we did is we took the new policy, we went ahead and met with Mr. Ballard to make sure that it does fit what we're currently doing. So it's an adjustment that needed to happen anyway to make sure that we're up to date with the new suggestions from the OSSBA as well as fitting our current policy.
And what were the changes from before?
So, man, that is a great question. So there were a couple things. There was the feather, which is in the actual legislation in the OSSBA. In their original one, they had the exact wording. In the new one, they don't. They have basic wording. And our policy is unique in the way that it's worked. So this actually has our wording of our policy in it as well. So it also allows for kids, like the OSSBA policy, it had no throwing anything in the air. Well, we throw our hats in the air. So it just basically made it fit our high school, compared to what we had.
Any other questions? Make a motion?
I'll make the motion, we approve it.
Is there a second?
I'll second this motion.
Roll call, please. Yes.
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 Discussion and vote to approve or not approve activity fundraisers for the 23-24 school year.
Yeah, so we have the SEC in your packet there, as well as girls' basketball. So the SEC, Miss Lamb is here, and I did ask, I was like, man, this is early for like donation for Angel Tree, but she's getting stuff ready, I think. It is for Angel Trees, is that right? I believe it's for the TSA, is it not? The one that's in there, I was thinking it says Angel Trees.
Donations for Angel Trees Need for Students.
Yeah, so I was like, that's really early for that, but, yeah, I'm glad that we're getting that going, and then girls' basketball, doing a basketball camp. So those are the only fundraisers that were turned in this month.
I move we approve the fundraisers.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Discussion about to approve or not approve an out-of-state activity trip for the PHS football team.
Yeah, so summer camp, Charleston, Arkansas, June 10th. So them going out of state anytime, and Mr. Heck, I'm not sure if you're aware, anytime we go out of state, we always bring them to the board to get approved. But, so this is a regular thing, not anything that's abnormal for a football team.
Any questions, or I'd entertain a motion?
I make a motion, we approve it.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Discussion and vote to approve or not approve an out-of-state activity trip for the Technology Student Association Poto chapter.
Yeah, so I would go into this, but Ms. Lamb probably knows this way better than me. Mr. Ballard, do we have the mic real quick for Ms. Lamb to explain what this one is? This is a pretty cool deal, and I don't think I would do it justice.
We had 3 young men qualify for the national competition for the TSA. They won the state with one of their projects, and they were second in another. We look really good to win the national competition, and we don't want to leave them in Oklahoma. We want them to be able to go and compete. Our TSA instructor is the district teacher of the year, and she's worked incredibly hard along with Shannon Stubbs to build our program and to help with Mr. Ballard moving forward for those kiddos to have opportunities to have real-life job experiences. So we're asking that you approve our TSA group to travel to Orlando in the end of June so that they can compete, and hopefully we can come back to the board with a national championship.
Do you mind sharing the project that Tara, and I don't know, I'll put you on the spot there.
What they have designed has to do with school safety. And when we think about school safety, we immediately go to active shooter or an intruder. But what our kiddos have designed is a box that goes in our school, and anytime in that box are medical supplies. I actually stole the mask out of the AED box, don't tell anybody, for them to take. As an example, I'll get another one, I promise. But what happens and what their design is once that box is opened and a piece of whatever medical equipment is taken out, then the authorities are automatically notified so that they know to come and help us out, much like our Rave Panic app. However, a lot of times when we're in schools and there's an accident, particularly with a kid, educators want to help kids, and it's not always the first thought on our mind is, I need to call 911. It's always, oh my gosh, I've got to help that kid. So their design is that it is a school safety project, and they've done a phenomenal job with that. And they're all 7th graders, by the way, so we have another year with them.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone want to make the motion to approve?
I make a motion, we approve it.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Before you go, one more thing on that. So Community State Bank also donated $5,000 for this trip. So shout out to Community State Bank. You know, being in a community where we have people that just step up, and community and business partners that just step up to help out is pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the following contracts agreements for the 24-25 school year.
Okay, so I'll go through these real quick, and then if y'all want to make a motion all together, we can. COSA and OSSBA are yearly items. We're a part of those. The item 3, man, we've been making good progress, but I would ask that we table item 3. That is the PKMS roof. Not that we're not going to get it done. We're working through a couple little contract items, and we just want to make sure we have it proper before we try to get board approval on it. Item 4 and 5 are yearly items. That's our occupational therapy and our physical therapy. There's no raise in the price from last year to this year, so they stayed level, which is abnormal in today's society because every year we get raises. So glad that we didn't get a pay raise in those. So the motion should be, if you guys approve 1, 2, 4, and 5, to approve and table 3, if there's no further questions.
And you're wanting to table 3, 4.
we're working on a contract, and we've got a couple of contract items, so we don't have a contract that we feel comfortable with yet.
Okay.
We do want to do that, and we've got a couple of resignations. I think we're going to have some hires, so we're probably going to have a special meeting prior to our next meeting, but at the very worst, we would have it at our next meeting.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody have any other questions? Anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion, we approve 1 and 2, 4 and 5, and table item 3.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the resolution for schools and libraries universal services E-rate for 24-25. This resolution authorizes the filing of the Form 471 applications for funding year 24-25 and the payment of the applicant's share upon approval of funding and receipt of services.
So this is our E-rate. Ms. Donna Warren, our technology director, does a great job. I don't have to manage this piece at all because she does such a great job with it. We're looking at about $118,000 for our FY '25 E-rate funding, which is a nice piece for us. So yearly, we get pretty nice E-rate funds here, and it goes in and helps with a ton of things. If you're not familiar with E-rate, you can use it. A lot of times it's used for being able to upgrade your infrastructure for technology. And then there's times where you can actually upgrade some of your technology, but a lot of times it's for infrastructure.
Anyone have any questions about that? I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second his motion.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Discussion and vote to approve or not approve surplus items.
So the primary had a big list, so the biggest item here is the primary. They had a lot of surplus items. You'll also see in there vehicle surplus. We have 2 older vehicles that we were able to work with our local businessmen again, Shockley's this time. So if you remember, earlier in the year, we had purchased a new vehicle from Steubenville here locally. Well, this time, we're purchasing the 2 vehicles that you guys approved earlier tonight from Shockley's, and these 2 surpluses vehicle surpluses would go right in to help make sure that's good. They gave us a great rate on some vehicles if we can get them surplused. So excited about that. PKMS just has a couple of items in there as well. So, and if you remember on the surplus, Devin is working a whole new process. So the surplus is actually starting to move and get some of the stuff out of our school, which I think has been a while since we started moving surplus actually out.
I move we approve the surplus item.
I second his motion.
All right, roll call, please. Yes.
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 Facilities report.
Okay, all right, so in your packet, you had a turf field. If you could pull that out real quick. So, as you know, if you don't know, you will. We're at the 10 years on our field. So our plan right now is after football season next year, between football and soccer, there's a window, and it's a tight window, and we are going to try to get the field replaced in that window. If we don't really have practice facilities anywhere. So right after football season, before soccer starts, is really the time. If we wait and we try to do it in summer, well, our football team is getting ready for the season. They don't have a place to practice. They're going all the way over PKMS. So there's a tight window there. You'll look at the design that we have in here. Did you get there's a couple of designs in your book, but then there's another one that had the little pirate head in the end zone as well. It's in the binders. So you actually have 3 different ones there. So as we're looking at it, the Princeton style is the style that alternates the shades of green that you see there on the field. So the groups want to go with the Princeton style. You'll see the one that I had pointed out that has the little pirate head in the end zone. That's the most recent version. You'll see the flag in the middle versus the pirate head in the middle has been one of the debates that we've kind of talked through and tried to figure out. The actual flag in the middle and the pirate head in the end zone is the most recent one, and that's the one that we're leaning towards. We're not making a decision, here anytime super quick, So sometime this week, if we get out of this meeting and you have preferences on these, communicate with us, and we'll take that into account. But we're wanting to get this going pretty quick. We're going to have to get this item on the books to get it in that window. So it's just one of those things, we got to move on. But right off the bat, does anybody have any questions on kind of the designs we're looking at for the turf?
These businesses that paid for the advertising,
Say it again now?
the businesses that paid for the advertising on that initial,
Yes. So the one that has the pirate heads in the end zone, if you look, there's little black lines there for advertisements. So we would have those on the field again as well. Yeah, so they would be on there as they were. And one thing that we would do moving forward, now we've kind of got some money set aside, and as we get sponsorships come in, we'll collect that for the next 10 years, and then we'll have the money to make the next purchase on the field, which wasn't necessarily done this time. So we'll make sure that as we move forward, we take care of that and we have that pot growing so that in 10 years, we don't have to try to come up with money as we did this time.
There's not I'm guessing it's just, that there's not actually a difference in the size of the field on the two, it's just,
Correct.
okay.
Yep. Yeah, you've seen our sidelines. We don't have a lot of room to work on that, so that's, yeah. The dimensions aren't changing.
It seemed like it held up like it was supposed to, like this is about the time it needs to be replaced.
Yeah, it's getting old, and we've got some seams that are coming apart, and, I mean, the next football season, it really needs to be the last one. I mean, it's getting rough in some spots, so. If anybody has questions, I can, but I'm going to move on, and feel free to come back or communicate later if you have more questions on that. All right, so facility report. High school. The high school gym, currently installing ceiling panels. HVAC units are on the site. We have the new electrical panel has been installed. Wiring is buried. Still need to connect it to the transformer, but it's making great progress. The high school hall demo work is planning to begin in mid-June. We got to wait. It's the delivery date of the doors. That's the one thing holding us up. But our hope is over the summer we can get the high school hallway demo completed, those 2 doors that you guys approved, and getting those in place. The high school marquee, we've got the actual marquee in, but we're having to pay some money and come and do it. We thought it was something we might be able to do in-house, but it's not. It's above our pay grade. So we're hiring somebody to come in and do that. The high school parking lot paving project is planning on starting the week of June 3rd. So getting that done in the summer is going to be essential. PKMS, we got the flooring project. We're planning on starting that June 3rd. PKMS roofing, hoping June 3rd. So we've obviously got to get that thing approved. So we'll probably have a special meeting for that. But as you can tell, a lot of this is happening this summer. This summer is going to be quite busy. As we go to elementaries, we've got the upper elementary. If you go in the upper, once you get through that main door, you can just go down the building. So one of the items that the capital improvement plan committee has been working on is once you come in, having a set of doors there by the office. So you have to stop at the office, and then you have to be led into the rest of the building. So I think that safety piece will be really big. So we're waiting on the delivery of those doors as well. So we can't give a timeline yet, but we've got that project working. The elementary marquees, if you've seen them, they're both up and working, and the principals have been getting things on there, so I've seen them going in and making changes on those. So hopefully they're working well for you guys. Okay. The sidewalk on the east end of the PPS, the primary, we're expanding that a little bit, and we're still working on coming up with a plan for covered walkways. The covered walkways at the elementaries, the primary and upper, were way more expensive than we had initially thought they would be. So we're still working on how to make that work. The carpet at the primary, kindergarten, and first grade is well past time to get replaced. So that's a summer project for us as well. The district, we were at the city council meeting, I don't know, 4 months ago, and John, not Ford.
Pickle.
What is it?
Fire Chief Pickle.
Pickle, thank you. John Pickle was there, and one of the things they wanted to do was get Knox boxes in place for us. So We've started working through that. We're working with John Ford on getting Knox boxes throughout our district, which will be really good for our emergency responders. So excited about that piece. And then transportation, we still don't have anything yet on the electric buses. They've moved the deadline or the release date on who's going to find out and when all the way to the back of May. So, so late May, but I'm assuming it'll be June because that's kind of been the trend. They just keep kicking it back. We did purchase we will now purchase the two Kia Carnival minivans. And they don't look like minivans. They look like SUVs. And then we did have the new Bluebird diesel. We received it last month. So, and it is in service now. So we've been making a lot of changes all over the place. So facility-wise, excited about where we're going. And once we get through the summer, it'll look even more different because we've got a lot of things happening this summer. That's all I got on the facility reports.
All right. Superintendent report?
Yep. So commencement plans. Currently, we do have a chance of rain. Last I saw was 40%. Crossing our fingers. It should only hit in the morning is what they're saying, and then by the afternoon we're going to be good. But if not, Mr. Ballard is really excited about taking it into the Reynolds Center, just like he was last year. So we're really crossing our fingers and hoping we can have it outside this year. But regardless, it's going to start at 7:30, and it's going to be great. So one thing that you guys, if you want to attend, at 10 a.m. on Friday, we'll have a walkthrough of all of that. So especially, we got several that haven't actually been through commencement, including myself. So being at that 10 o'clock walkthrough and seeing how everything works could help you guys out. So you're more than welcome to attend if you'd like to see kind of the process.
I'll be there for graduation, but I'll be headed back from Stillwater that morning. So.
Okay. No problem. We'll get you through that evening then. And then legislation. The governor, he signed several bills. I'm not going to go through all of them, but we will have multiple changes coming into next year. Senate Bill 3958 was signed. That's the one where parents have to be included in employee communication with students on school-approved platforms. So I know we had a bill, policy piece on that just a couple of years ago, I think, just before I got into POTO. So now the state legislation has come in and put their own stamp on that. So that's going to have to change again for us. So we'll be looking at that with OSSBA guidance once we get that. House Bill 3278, that's the new graduation requirements, has been signed now. Really interesting on what it's going to do. We have an extra math, but we have more flexibility on what that looks like. I think there's 9 different pathways now, whereas it used to kind of be 2 main pathways. So they've really created more flexibility in allowing us to go different directions. They're going to tie it also to ICAP, which is the individual career academic plan. So they're going to tie it to that as well. So try to make it more of an individualized plan for each kid as opposed to, you know, the 2-size-fits-all, which is kind of what we've had. So, and then there's others, but I mean, we'll have to go through all of them. A lot of them we don't even understand exactly what that looks like for us until we get some more guidance on it. May 31st is the end of this session. So by the time we get to our June board meeting, I'll hope that we'll have a pretty good list of legislation that's going to affect us. And then you know as well as I do, it'll be September or October before we actually get the legal guidance on how we actually implement those things. So, but not as much as last year. Last year was huge when we're talking legislation. So, any questions?
Reynolds Center beats the unair-conditioned gym that we used to have it in if it was raining outside, so.
Yeah.
Be thankful for small blessings, yeah. All right, anyone have any questions? Do we need to go into executive session?
We don't, but there's a lot of information there. So if anybody has any questions, I'm more than welcome to go back.
Does anybody want to go into executive session? Going once, going twice. All right. Vote to approve or not approve the resignations of the employees and any resignations submitted since the posting of the agenda. Have we had any new resignations submitted?
We did, but I didn't get it in here. So
What it says?
yeah, we're gonna have to have a special. So
Okay.
let's just approve these.
All right. So the three listed, Mr. Schenkel, Ms. Westfall, and Mr. Hackler.
I move we approve those resignations.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Does anyone have any objection to doing 25, 26, 27, and 28 together?
We would, if we could do 25, 26, 27, when we get to 28, I'll give you specific names.
All right. So 25, 26, and 27?
Motion to approve it?
Is there a second?
I'm not sure, is that 25, 26, and 27 on you guys'?
Or 30, 31, 32?
Yes.
There's two different.
On page 3, those, yeah.
Yep. Same thing. Yes.
30, 31.
So the new numbers, you approve those
I
too?
approve the new number. Yes,
30, 31, 32.
I second that motion.
No one else is gonna call me out on that, huh? All right, roll
I just
call,
went
please.
with it.
Yes.
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 All right. 33.
Yes, so we have upper elementary teacher Sadie Thompson. Really excited. I think she's going to be a really good fit for upper elementary. And then PKMS custodian Carrie Phipps, P-H-I-P-P-S, Carrie Phipps. And I think she'll be a really good fit for PKMS as well. Excited to get both of them.
I move we approve the employment. 33.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call, please. Yes.
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 All right. Do we have a motion? Did we get everything? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please. Yes.
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 Yes.